many of you here are doctors, and so to that extent we've got something in common, because my father was a doctor, and what we might have in common is that my handwriting is as bad as almost every other doctor that I've ever come across. I'd like to offer a word on Namibia in particular, which really is, I mean, there's one thing everyone knows about Namibia. Once you've been there, you're struck by the place. I mean, it is the most extraordinary place. I'd like to say a word about Africa in general, for reasons that I will explain now, but also the UK's relationship with Africa. And we're living in testing times in the UK, as you know. We need to establish ourselves and find our right presence in the world. No, I mean, it's. I mean, the UK does need to find its way in the world. I'm a moderate, what's called a crossbencher, independent member, and international affairs is what interests me the most. But we really do need, if I may say, and I would say this to anyone here present, no, correction, I will say this to others elsewhere present, that we in the UK need to be much more humble in our approach and win with friends around the world. And I think that by doing that, we will be setting a much better place for the United Kingdom in tomorrow's world. Now, of course, I got to the stage where I can't read my writing.
That's where you went to doctor.
The point I would like to make about Africa is that Africa is continent-wide. Africa is from the south in South Africa, up to the north, up to the Maghreb, up to Libya. And in fact, I'll say a word about the Libyan foreign minister who was in town just now. A highly formidable lady, I can tell you. It was a pleasure to meet her. Just on the question of ladies, and recognizing that Namibia has, I think, 44.2% ladies in the National Assembly. It really is something that
we could learn something
I
here.
like the point too.
Actually, I'm glad you spoke actually, because I was going to talk about 2019. I was going to actually say a word about the 2019 drought that was so, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people were caught up in this dreadful situation. And I was just asking HC as to whether the effects of 2019 are now over, and I really wasn't quite sure about that, so I wanted to seek guidance from HC. It may be of interest to some that just to explain that I'm co-chair of two parliamentary groups in Westminster. In fact, HC, you led me into this very well about the economy, because I was looking up at our trade figures. So I'm co-chair of the of two parliamentary groups and the point person of both. One is the future of the UK freight and logistics sector, where we're conducting a programme as a strategic review that hopefully will stand instead for the next 50 years, because freight and logistics has not been an area where the UK government has taken, frankly, particularly seriously. So we are doing a bottom-up exercise from the professionals, which is the only way to do it, of course, and to have their input in identifying exactly the direction of travel, which is actually a good expression. The direction of travel for the group. And the other is that I'm co-chair and the point person of the trade and investment. And that's also important, because we're going to do a thorough review of the three documents that have come out over the years. One was Heseltine's No Stone Upturned,